Hey everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm playing in the 50 TP prototype, although a lot of more people will know this as the Polish Defender. Is that because it's really good at defending? Well, kind of, but that's not the main reason why this vehicle is kind of nicknamed the Polish Defender. It's because it came after, fairly quickly after, possibly one of the most broken premium tanks that ever entered World of Tanks. Everyone knows it as the Object 252U Defender. That's a Soviet Tier 8 Premium Heavy. This was the Polish Tier 8 Premium Heavy, and it kind of ticked all of the boxes that the Defender had. 440 alpha damage with its 122mm gun, and an armor layout that wasn't quite as good. And I think that's really one of the biggest differences between the two tanks, and why the 50 TP prototype never really became as popular as the Defender is. The Defender has an armor layout that is pretty much just idiot-proof. Jingle said it best with regards to that. He in the first week or so called it idiot-proof. It was just perfect. I kind of missed the ball, or I dropped the ball with the Defender. I didn't actually think it was going to be crazy OP. I thought it'd be a really good tank, but I thought its gun was going to hold it back a lot more than it actually did. Boy, was I wrong. The Defender's armor just made for a fairly weak gun that had good alpha damage to just become this very powerful premium tank, if not very much overpowered premium tank in World of Tanks. These days in 2021, it's not nearly the same as when the vehicle was released. Goodness gracious, what is it, 4 or 5 years ago now? But still, it is one of those vehicles that when I'm playing a Tier 6 or a Tier 7 tank, especially on my free-to-play account, I am kind of wincing at having to try and deal with them. Your only real option is to try and shoot the two kind of cupolas on top of the vehicle, and sometimes you even have to load gold and shoot those to be able to deal with a Defender. The 50 TP prototype, on the other hand, you don't have to be that excessive with trying to deal with it. Its lower plate has about 170-180mm of effective armor when it's not angled, and that's really the big difference. With the Defender, you have to have about 220mm, or even when you're shooting at the front lower plate, to be able to go through the tank. That means that most vehicles that it will meet will not be able to penetrate it without gold. The 50 TP prototype, on the other hand, most vehicles are going to be able to penetrate it without gold. And that's really what the biggest differences are between the tanks. However, the 50 TP prototype has an ace up its sleeve that whenever I play this vehicle, I thoroughly enjoy. And I think that the 50 TP prototype is probably better for the knowledgeable World of Tanks player, and especially good for the advanced World of Tanks player. That is because it has better view range, 380 meters, allowing you to be able to spot people at the back like that pesky artillery that we tried to take a chance against. But more importantly, it has 8 degrees of gun depression over the front, and if you turn the tank to the side, you might be thinking, wow, are you over-angling your vehicle here? Why are you always driving at 45-degree angles? And that's because over the side, it actually has 10 degrees of gun depression, which allows you to be incredibly flexible on a ridgeline, and so you can do things that the Defender can only dream of. Up in this location up here, we're managing to turn the vehicle to the left and shoot over the right of the hull, and turn the vehicle to the right and shoot over the left of the hull, and dance along this ridgeline and get better shots than the other vehicles like the 53 TP, who has 8 degrees of gun depression, wouldn't be able to shoot us. We could see that we could shoot their hull armor there with their 8 degrees of gun depression, but they were unable to shoot anywhere apart from our turret. And that is where gun depression is absolutely king in World of Tanks, and why it's getting us through this battle right now in this position. But talk about getting through the battle. Goodness gracious, this game is not looking very good. We have 5 tanks versus 10 vehicles on the enemy team, and they have 4,000 more hit points than us right now. And with bad RNG like that, we're not going to be able to come back from that 4,000 hit point difference very quickly. Okay, so it's me and an AMX M449 Liberté having to hold back a big advance, but we've also got to hurry up because they're trying to approach from the south and they're going to try and pressure the cap circle. I played very carefully so far in this game, and I've managed to pick up the same amounts of kills that the rest of my team has been able to achieve together. With 3 kills in this game, but it's still not going to be enough. We're going to have to be more aggressive now. We're really going to have to turn the heat up. Luckily, we're playing an encounter. I'm doing what I have been doing a lot of recently in World of Tanks, and that is letting my team know that I'm going to help them. I hold my Z key, I mouse over the Liberté, and I say, but I'm going to help you. The Liberté says, thanks a lot. And now I don't want to go around the corner and just completely sacrifice my tank, but I'm going to try and support them. We can see that the IS-22 didn't want to shoot through the thick frontal armor of the Liberté, and I was able to hide my lower plate behind the Liberté, who we will now be referring to as B. Belint. And that is because me and B. Belint are starting to get our team back into this game, and with some good luck like that, with 436 damage and a fire to boot shutting down the tier 7 Soviet heavy tank, wow, this game is still being swung around. We have now got into a state where it's 4 versus 5 vehicles, but they still have double our hit points, so we've got to be careful indeed. Okay, so in this scenario, we're going to try and take a lucky shot at the Su-152, but what we really need to do right now is protect the cap circle. But there's no point in just driving straight towards the cap circle along here, because that's just going to be an absolute free farm for the Su-152. So what we have to do, and once again I tell B. Belint that I'm going to help them out here, is we have to get rid of the tank destroyers. We have to get rid of the flanking tank destroyers in this cheeky little basin position here, and then we can maybe make our way towards the cap circle. We come up over the ridge aggressively, knowing that the Su-152 hit us earlier with the 122mm, and at the very worst I was going to lose 390 hit points. And when you've only got a minute left to be able to interrupt the cap, you really don't have time to mess around, especially considering that there are also 2 self-propelled guns on the enemy team. So it looks like now, after some great teamwork up on that ridgeline with B. Belint, he is now making his way towards the self-propelled guns. And there you go, he shut down that GW Panther that we left on a few hit points earlier on in the game. And it's our duty to assist the IS-2S and the ARL-44 in protecting the cap circle. But whoa, big surprise here. QuickyBaby on our team in a bottom tier heavy tank manages to interrupt the Panther. We get 1 shell into the Panther, and unfortunately the Lorraine on the enemy team, a very dangerous French auto-loading medium tank, appears on a good amount of hit points. I'm going to shoot 1 round through the wall there into the Panther and now turn my attention to the Lorraine. So this is an interesting situation. We saw the Lorraine fired twice at the IS-2S on our team. There's artillery raining death upon us, so we have to be aggressive. So the Lorraine's probably reloading in this situation. Oh, they're not. And they waste the first shot, put the second shot into us, but huge misplay there by the Lorraine. They didn't reload after their 2 shells, and so they wouldn't have enough to be able to take us on. And in that position, it was 100% the right play to pressure the Lorraine, because if they're reloading, I need to shoot them twice before they manage to reload. And if they're not reloading, then they're only going to have 2 rounds left, and they won't be able to deal with us. And just like that, the Polish defender goes on the attack, with also B. Belint on our team, vanquishing over half of the enemy team and picking up a cheeky 8-kill Radley Walters medal. Now, B. Belint on my team actually says, please invite me. And so I tried to invite them to a platoon just before the end of the game, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get in there with them. And so, while unfortunately we didn't quite manage to make it into a platoon, afterwards, I contacted B. Belint, told them just how much of a pleasure it was to be able to get through this battle along with them, and then we played 2 games together afterwards. Unfortunately, we lost both of those games, but B. Belint played courageously in them, and then I'm glad we were able to meet each other in this one. So this was an ace tanker for the 50 TP. This was 1,965 base experience points, a mammoth game for this tank. We get a Radley Walters medal for our 8 kills, and we get a high caliber for the 5,776 damage that we dealt. And as you would expect, when you're running credit boosters and you manage to do that much damage without firing that many gold rounds, 200,000 credit profit, cha-ching, not bad indeed. And so, the Polish defender, is it the better of the 2 tanks? Well, I would say it is, but only if you're a knowledgeable player who is going to make use of the improved gun depression and view range that the vehicle has. For the vast majority of players, the almost idiot-proof armor on the defender, where you just basically rush in and 230mm of lower plate armor, 260 on the upper plate, while you're still maintaining about 200, 220 on the side, is just absolutely perfect for somebody who isn't thinking about working the ridgeline, who isn't thinking about spotting their opponents at decent distances. And also the increased penetration that the defender has on both its standard rounds, but also more importantly the premium rounds on the defender, just allow poor marksmanship to be forgiven more often. But nevertheless, if you're an experienced player who likes to work a ridgeline and knows those important locations on the map, Yeah, maybe give the Polish Defender a try. It might surprise you. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for today. Really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Sunday, it's time for the World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase, live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And this week, I'm going to be featuring all of the Italian auto-reloading medium tanks as they're currently top of the tree or to the top on the American server. So come along and I'll try and let you know everything there is to know about all of the Italian medium tanks leading up to the fabulous Progetto 65. So you can smash your way up the tech tree or maybe just come and enjoy all of that auto reloading goodness. So really looking forward to seeing all of you live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic and hopefully I'll see you soon.